if we are talking about top four, it's not even top four anymore because of that
Oh, top
3-0 win
5.
yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, because of that 3-0 win yesterday, we've helped some of the
Congratulations.
English teams, people like Manchester City and
Welcome back to the Late Go podcast, your weekly fix where football meets passion, debate, banter, vibes, excitement. Relax, enjoy as we break down the plays, predict the outcomes, and share the love of the game. With me today, we have two guests in our midst. We have Crespo from the city of Owerri. Crespo is a Milan fan. Crespo, can you just wave to our fans? Let them see you.
Hi,
And we have our
everybody.
international analyst, Gunners, representing the Gunners,
for life.
all the way from the United Kingdom. Tosin in our midst. Wave to our fans, Tosin. Make them see you. Make them see, make
Hello,
them
good evening,
feel you.
guys. Good evening.
And I have my my co-host, Yinka. Yinka, welcome to the show. Uh, it's been an
Good evening,
interesting week.
everyone. It's good to be back. Hey, very
It's
interesting week. I think you can tune out
very
again.
interesting week. Uh, Yinka, are you sure we will not redo that your Arsenal Madrid combined 11?
After what?
That your combined 11, Arsenal and Madrid combined 11. Are you sure we won't redo it?
I mean, even well, we have an Arsenal fan here now. Even if you ask most Arsenal fans, they would agree with that combined 11. Yes, Arsenal won on the day. Arsenal were better on the night, but if you compare player for player, Madrid players would still, make most of the combined 11. At least that's my opinion. But combined 11, the names on the field do not necessarily mean that, a win is guaranteed. It is who gives their all the most. It is who performs better when they face off. And, at the end of the day, Arsenal did better. Unfortunately, I was not able to see the game because Inter was also playing at the same time. But I've seen the highlights, and I think that, Arsenal deserved the win.
You missed. Luckily for me, I saw both games side by side. I was streaming the Arsenal match and I was watching the Inter's match. Before the fire dies down, let me give chance to our Arsenal fan. Tosin, a lot of people has tagged that match the miracle of Emirates. Was it something you expected, or you are shocked as a neutral?
Good evening, guys. I won't call it miracle because yes, I wasn't expecting 3-0, but I was expecting Arsenal to win that game.
Wow.
And yes, I was
Yinka,
expecting
you
Arsenal
can
to win
hear.
that game. But I wasn't expecting 3-0 like I've mentioned. The truth of the game is if you look at Madrid this season and compared to last season, Madrid they've really dropped. Yeah, they knocked out. Even if you look at the group stage, they were struggling. I think they struggled to qualify from the group stage.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and they played City. City as well has really dropped. So you cannot even, you know, compare it with what they played last season. And Arsenal this season, Arsenal always have one problem to play a low block team. And I knew Madrid. If you even looked at Madrid yesterday, they were a bit sitting behind, sitting back. So and when I was watching the game, I was like, I hope they come out to play because if you look at Arteta this season, Arsenal has really played very well in the Champions League than the Premier League. Because if you look at the team we play apart from Inter Milan, they mostly come out to play.
Yeah, you
And
lost to Inter.
at the end of the day, if it's 11-11, yeah, we lost to Inter because I think we lost to Inter because Inter were a bit sitting behind, and they had the opportunity,
Yinka, were you sitting
to
behind?
score, and I think it was a penalty.
Well, I wanted to actually buttress his point that it was not a beat. We sat down, we sat behind comfortably. Inter is actually a team that is comfortable without the ball and with the ball. So if you want to have possession, you can have it.
So, and if you look at it this season, all the games Arsenal have played, I think we drew 11 games in Premier League, apart from the referee decisions and all of that. Any team we play against that we draw or we lose, definitely they didn't come out to play. And that has been Ateta's problem. And Ateta needs to look for a solution for that. So coming to the Madrid game that we won 3-0. Yeah, I was surprised with the scoreline. I was thinking it was going to be 2-0, 2-1. Very tight win. But 1-3-0 with a clean sheet. And everyone was excited.
Before I move to Crespo, one more question for you. How much of
Yeah.
an impact was Bukayo Saka in that match?
We've really missed him. Um the two goals, the first two goals, I think was they had to kick Saka for us to play that
Yeah,
free kick.
he considered the free kick, the two free kicks.
Yes, the first one. Even if you look at Declan Rice interview, our set piece coach said he should cross the ball. Odegaard said the same thing. Saka asked him, "Can you kick the ball?" He said yes, and then go with your heart. That one alone is enough for me. And the impact of Saka,
You
because
dey see the small small things wey dey sweet Arsenal fans.
so
You dey see am.
the impact of Saka, because we don't have that deadly striker. Saka created two chances yesterday, and it was very important. But there was no one to bury the ball because we don't have that center striker. And that game yesterday against Madrid, we played 11 shots, and all those 11 shots were on target. Madrid would have loved that game like 5-6-0. If you watch
Yeah,
the game, Inca didn't watch the game, so he wouldn't know what we're talking about. But
Courtois was very busy. He had
to me, it
double
was the man
save
of the match.
once.
Apart from Declan Rice, it was Madrid's man of the match.
Courtois had a double save. He had a triple
It was
save at a point. And tactically, I think
yeah.
Ateta was cautious because of the lack of striker, a lot of crosses were going to the far post. Uh, Lewis Kelly was not allowed to overlap. So there was a lot of caution in the Arsenal approach. But then, Tosin, I'm still coming to you. Let me go to Crespo. You know, Crespo is a Milan fan. You know, all these things when they talk, you know to concern, if you like, anyone will like me do. But
Odeka.
Crespo, 7-time Champions League winner. Yinka, please respect,
Odeka. 7-time Champions League winner. That's not one in 15 years. I mean, how many
respect
years?
us, respect us. It's not easy, oh. It's not
Oh,
easy, oh.
sorry.
Crespo, I believe you saw the match yesterday. Did you? What went
Yes.
wrong for Madrid? What did Madrid do wrong?
Okay. So the game against Arsenal, the one I watched was Inter, but against Bayern. So
Okay.
that was the game I concentrated more on, because I was particularly interested to see how, because I knew Inter were going to beat Bayern. Number one, ever since Vincent Company took over the helms of affairs in Bayern, I've never had confidence in that team ever since he was announced the manager of that. And the team has been shaky, in all their games so far this season. Maybe in the Bundesliga, they've been yeah, not so bad, but then again, there have been you know, um, lots of errors, lots of you know, easy games that they could have easily won, but they end up, either drawing the game or struggling to win, that kind of thing. They haven't actually been very convincing ever since companies took over, the affairs of Bayern. So last night I was very certain that Inzaghi was going to, take into the peanuts. In fact, the
Yinka,
scoreline was a bit.
we believe
I
your
never.
team pass you. Yinka,
But that,
Italian fans,
but
So
that's not
we
honestly,
particularly
believe Inter
correct now.
pass you. It's not particularly
no, no,
correct.
but,
Okay.
but honestly, honestly, last night I never expected Inter to concede in Munich last night. I expected Inter to finish that game, without to finish the game, 1-0 or 2-0 scoreline. I believe in Inter so much, and I know that by the time they get to San Siro for the second leg, I don't expect Bayern to score. I expect Inter to, take their time and finish, the game, and look forward to playing Barcelona. In fact, they should be telling their thoughts, on the next game, on probably their next player as in, the ones they will play like, this weekend, and then by the time they get back to, host Bayern in San Siro.
Okay,
I don't expect I don't expect Bayern to put any sort of issue for Inter in the return leg.
okay. It seems we have a
So
split.
for the Arsenal game,
Uh, okay.
I didn't quite watch that game.
No, Crespo, let me hear your
Yes.
take on the
So
Arsenal
for
game.
the Arsenal game, yeah. So for the Arsenal game, I didn't watch the game. I only saw the highlights. And
Okay,
you can't really judge a game by just watching mere highlights. But
but you saw three
I could
goals,
see from the yeah, I saw 3 goals and I was
and you
surprised.
saw that Madrid did not
Honestly
score any.
speaking, I was
What else
surprised.
are you looking for? Tosin, tell him
Well,
what is he
well,
looking
well
for?
the thing is, well, okay, now let me say something for Madrid. Now, in previous happenings, Ancelotti has always struggled against teams that play like Arsenal. If we can recall in the past, I can give some instances when he was when he was in Milan, even when he was in the Premier League too. There were some games against Arsenal that Ancelotti would always struggle. I knew Ancelotti was going to, some sort of struggle to beat Arsenal, but I never saw Arsenal beating Ancelotti 3-0.
Right.
So that's just my take.
Yeah, sorry to come in there. It's not about Ancelotti struggling against Arsenal now. Real Madrid have really dropped. Yeah, they have injuries problem, but if you look at the team now, the team has dropped. They have to accommodate Mbappe. So I believe Mbappe is a wrong signing because I believe they needed someone like Benzema, a center forward, who can
A
always
point
score
man.
goals. But Mbappe plays well. Yeah, a point man, someone like Haaland. Yes, not
Natural striker.
that. Yeah, not them.
Harry
I
Kane.
think they just wanted Mbappe just for, oh yes, we have Mbappe, we have one of the best players in the world. So, but it's not about you wanting that place. What you need. Do you understand what I mean? So, and which has really disturbed their tactics and formation. Jude has to drop back, you know. So Jude, if you look at Jude this season, he has really dropped. Last season he scored how many goals? I can't remember how many goals he scored. But this
He
season he has
scored
really
quite a
dropped
number of
because
goals. Yeah.
Mbappe, yeah, and they won Champions League last season. I think they won La Liga as
Very
well.
crucial game.
Yeah, they won. Yeah, they won Champions League last season, but now they've really dropped. They are really struggling. So to me, I believe this season they've not really played well, and
Okay,
it's not just their.
okay. I saw the match yesterday,
Yeah, so
and
Yeah, game.
before the match, Ancelotti said something. He said, uh, just to summarize, he said they are coming to defend at the Emirates, and
ah, okay.
uh, yesterday he had a lot of physical players on the pitch. They were ready to counter, and for the first 45 minutes, it worked. Uh, they limited Arsenal to a reasonable extent. But in the second half, after the first goal, Madrid did not even Madrid didn't turn up. They didn't increase the tempo. Vinicius, Rodrigo, everybody was off. It's unlike of Madrid. But then it has happened. Yinka, this is where you come in. The second leg, what do you see happening? Just based on your experience of what you know Madrid can do, how do you advise an Arsenal team to approach the game at the Bernabeu?
Right. So Arsenal have 3 goals in hand already, and they say a bird in hand is better than two in the bush. So you'd expect Arsenal to protect the 3 goals. In fact, people go into games with 1 goal lead and try to protect the 1 goal lead, talk less of three. So Arsenal would do well to protect their 3 goal lead and also try to get a goal, one odd goal or two at the Bernabeu. Now, whether that would be possible is completely different. Personally, I think that Real Madrid will win at the Bernabeu. I just don't know if the win will be enough to turn the tie around. So, as it is, you say maybe a 2-1 win to Real Madrid or a 3-1 win. Just a good win that might not be enough to get them through. But at the same time, you can never rule Real Madrid out. I mean, this is a club that has done so well with comebacks. They came back against Man City, did it against Chelsea. They've not particularly done it, with being 3 goals down, but it's not something that you would put past them, especially in the Champions League. But if I was to say, going to my head, if I was to pick someone to qualify at this point, it would be Arsenal. That's because I still do not trust Real Madrid's defense. I think that they can concede at any time. And because there's that chance that they could concede, it means that they need to score, say, 4 goals or 5 goals. Can they score 4 goals against this Arsenal? Can they score 5 against this Arsenal? I do not think so. So I think that Arsenal will qualify eventually.
Tosi, are you going to the Bernabeu to defend, be compact, or attack?
I'm not Ateta, right? But
Ah, disclaimer.
head to head favors Arsenal. Head to head favors Arsenal. I think we've played Madrid 3 times now. We've won 2 games and drew once, and they've never beaten Arsenal. So that record is still there. So there's a possibility we go there and either withdraw or win because of the head to head. And like
Head
I
to head does
mentioned,
not play
this
football.
is part of the
Well,
game.
you consider head-to-head
Head to head
defender.
is part of the
What is wrong
game.
with you?
There is
Now,
yes,
just saying you
it's
cannot
yeah,
go into a match solely because you have a better. You're thinking that you will win solely because you have
and
better head to head.
and like I've mentioned, yeah, Madrid they've always come back. They've always come back against other teams. And let me let you understand one thing now. Ateta can play any type of football. If it's for Arsenal to play Aram football, he can do it as
Hmm.
well. And I believe
Simeone
Ateta will
standard.
go there. I- So I believe Ateta will go there with the mentality of, yeah, guys, defend, but play that counter-attack football. He has Martinelli and Saka to do all of that. And I'm sure he's definitely going to rest them, Declan Rice and Partey for this weekend's game because they are very key to our game, especially Partey. We call him the senior man, Partey. So for that game against Madrid, the second leg, yeah, Madrid might win, but Arsenal will still go through.
I think Arsenal would win at the Bernabeu. I don't know.
Okay, so
I
one
think Arsenal would win.
okay, so
I
one thing
think
I
Arsenal
know
would
for
win at the
sure is
Bernabeu.
Arsenal will be going to Arsenal will be going Arsenal will be going to Madrid. At least they're going to score at least a goal. And that's going to be more difficult for Real Madrid because then they would need to win by 5 goals to 1. I know Arsenal will score at least a goal in Madrid by the time they go to play next week. That is the thing. So
Uh,
it's almost impossible for Real Madrid to come back in this game. It's almost impossible. So it's just for Arsenal to go there and finish the 90% job is done, protect their lead and start thinking about their next opponent, that's PSG or Aston
okay.
Villa.
Uh, before we talk about the other matches, I want us to exhaust this Arsenal victory, and I want us to talk about the Declan Rice free kicks. Yinka, you will take the lead on this one. What what were your concerns with the free kicks? Let me ask you a neutral question.
All right. So it's important that you've pointed out that I'm a neutral. So I am not taking anybody's sides. I'm neither a Real Madrid nor an Arsenal fan. I think that both free kicks were, very good free kicks. But at the same time, I also think that Real Madrid's wall was at fault for the second free kick, which I initially thought was the first free kick because, like I said earlier, I didn't see the game. So the first goal that I saw was the one that he puts in the top bin. That's
That
in the
was the
top
second
corner
free
of the
kick.
post. The one that the Arsenal wall, open for him to shoot. And I thought that when I saw that, I felt like the Real Madrid wall was not properly positioned. One. I also think that the Real Madrid players, apart from the players that formed the wall, the ones that were standing close to that area, the situation before the free kick happened, were too nonchalant in the way they
Can
reacted,
anybody
the
hear
way
you?
they
Can,
were. Yeah, I,
No.
I can hear
I can
you.
hear you though.
I
Can
can
you
see
hear me?
you and I can see so symbol. I think we can network is,
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, his network is a
I
bit
think it's
bad.
back now.
okay, while we wait for Yinka,
Can you
Tosin,
guys hear me?
uh, okay, we can hear you now.
Yeah, yeah, he's back.
All right, you guys can hear me. Sorry about that. So, like I was saying, I felt like the players that surrounded that situation were particularly nonchalant in their body, body shape, their body language, and the likes. So, apart from the fact that the wall was badly positioned, you cannot have four men standing in the wall as a defending team, and then you have three or four Arsenal players beside you, and you are not causing any type of disruption in between. It was quite clear that that was the plan. If you have four men in front of, just beside the wall, it was quite clear that those men were going to open for the guy to shoot. There was nobody at the back. There was nobody trying to form a disruption, and that made it easier for that free kick, for Declan Rice to score that free kick. But this is not to say that, it wasn't a good shot. It was a good shot if he hit the bin, but I just feel like without that wall, if the wall had been positioned properly, he probably wouldn't have scored that goal. But for the second goal, I think that was a fantastic one. He bent it around the wall. Fantastic free kick. That's the first free kick which I saw second. That was the second free kick that I saw.
Yeah, Tosin, over to you. The free kicks.
Yeah, two fantastic free kicks. And I think Arsenal, we've not scored free kick for a while now. I think the last time we scored was against Burnley. I can't remember the year, and I think it was Odegaard that scored that free kick. And then we've been um, playing free kicks for many times now. We've not even scored any. And I won't lie to you, I wasn't expecting um us to score a free kick yesterday. Even when Declan Rice scored the first goal, I thought it was not a goal until he started jubilating. I was like, oh, the ball entered the net. Yeah, because I wasn't expecting it. The first thing was Declan Rice has tried to play free kicks like that this season. He used to balloon the ball. And but I know he must have been practicing it because if you look at Declan Rice, when he came from West Ham, he doesn't play any set pieces. Now he came to Arsenal, he's good at set pieces, playing our free kicks, playing our corners, with Saka as well. So I think he has been practicing it. But it worked out for him yesterday. The first goal, perfect free kick. No one was expecting that. He had to call that ball and score that ball. But the second one, I would still pick the second one ahead of the first one. And why I'm going to pick the second ones, no one was expecting it. One, it was far away. It, I know Yinka said, "Oh, the wall was a bit not that okay." But what I would say is, even with the wall there, because it was a bit far away, it was easier for that ball to go in. Not you get what I mean? It was easier for that ball to pass through the wall
I think you need to. I think you need to watch that free kick again. If there was a Real Madrid player in that ball, there was a chance that
You
that
can,
ball would have hit the
I,
Real Madrid player.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
We can agree to disagree,
I,
but I think
I
that
don't agree.
hold on. Let
I,
me just explain. Let me just explain what I think.
Yeah.
Now we had say three Real Madrid players or four, if I remember well, and then just
Mm-hmm.
beside them
four of
there
them.
were another three or four Arsenal players.
Arsenal. Yeah.
Now, if Real Madrid players were smart or if they had sense, at least I'm not even a professional footballer, and I knew that once that wall was set like that, Arsenal's intention wouldn't be to bend it around their own wall. It would be to play through that wall. The players just needed to time their run and then open it for that wall to go through. It would then be the ball against, Courtois. Now, if Real Madrid had put one of their players or two of their players in between that wall, or to just cause some sort of problem, that's not against the law. To just cause some sort of problem, insert themselves there. Go and watch that free kick again. That free kick went from ground up. At the time that it
Yes.
was going through that wall, it was still at the level of the players' bodies, where they didn't even have to jump for that ball to hit their player. So if there was a Real Madrid player there was a chance that that ball would have hit a player, rather than going to the net. Obviously, we cannot say because we would never know what would have happened. But I still think that if Real Madrid had placed one or two players in that wall, it would have given them a big chance of avoiding that goal.
Well, in a free kick setting, the wall is protecting one half of the post. The
Yeah,
goalkeeper
while the
is on
goalkeeper
the
takes the
other
other half.
side of the post. Now, for the second free kick, I think Madrid even arranged their wall better than the first one because Courtois was on his left, the wall was covering the right. Now, the only thing I can't remember is that was it just Declan Rice that was standing over the free kick or Declan Rice and Saka? If it was Declan Rice and Saka,
It was Declan Rice and Odegaard actually.
See, there's no,
And
there's
Declan
no,
Rice and
there's no,
Declan Rice
there's
and
no
Odegaard,
rule set in
Yinka,
stone.
wait now. Yinka, Odegaard is left-footed.
uh
There was no way you would expect that wall to push in to the Arsenal guys. What if Odegaard bent it around them?
I didn't ask you to move the wall. I said you needed to put two extra players in between the Arsenal ball. I didn't say you should
Yinka, that
move
would be
that wall.
six. That would be five Madrid players in the
There
wall.
is no rule that says you must put a certain number of players. I'm going to give you an example. When Inter went to the Camp Nou, I think it was about 3 or 4 seasons ago, Messi was still at Barca. I know Messi missed that game due to injury. And Barca had a very dangerous free kick. I think it was Luis Suarez that wanted to play it. Inter had to improvise. Marcelo Brozovic had to lie down on the ground. So, when you see who is about to take a free kick, you've seen Declan Rice's position to take it with his right. You've seen another guy that might take it with his left. You know that there's a possibility that someone can shoot it from the right. And you've seen an Arsenal wall just standing there. You know, anyone with sense would know that if Odegaard had not taken that ball, obviously if Odegaard had played it, he would have tried to bend it around the wall. But if it was Declan Rice that would take that shot, he would take it through that wall. So they should have done something to prevent that situation. I'm not saying for sure that this would definitely prevent the goal, but you do something to prevent that situation. You put an extra player there, or you do. I mean, Inter puts Brozovic on the floor. I'm not sure they react to that, but that situation called for that kind of
Improvisation.
solution. Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what they did. Now, and I know that to say this means sort of it's making it look like I'm taking something away from Declan Rice's efforts. No, that's not the point. It was a fine shot, top bin, as in it went into the angle 90 of the post. But it could still have been most goals, if you really want to analyze most goals, it could have been prevented if someone had done something right or something. So that's just what I'm saying. If someone had done this, maybe it would have prevented the goal. That's just what I'm saying.
Well, uh, if Madrid had done something right, they would not have gone home with 3 goals
Exactly.
deficit. We thank
Absolutely
God they
not.
did not do something right. We
Why are you
enjoyed
thanking
two
God?
wonderful. We, me, I've been rooting for Arsenal now. You can stop this now.
Wow. Wow.
And we are supposed to talk about Merino's goal as well. A makeshift
Yeah,
striker scored a
Merino,
beautiful goal.
Yeah, he scored a beautiful goal. Merino was Merino has been doing his best to fill in that striker role, and he does a lot of link up, comes back,
Yeah, in the
and that
absence
was
of
a
Kai Havertz.
Let them come and play
yeah.
Merino against Inter. If Inter manages to make the final, although I don't think that will be possible, but let them come and play Merino, Saka, and Martinelli against Inter. Let
Nigga.
Achebi sit on
I believe in this Inter.
Merino.
I believe in this Inter, especially in the Champions League. They have been very disciplined. I think they've only conceded 3 goals so far this season in the Champions League.
Three
Yeah,
One
goals,
goal in
no,
but
the
three
they've
group
goals.
stage.
they've
We
No,
kept
Inter
8
they,
clean
conceded 3
sheets.
goals though.
No.
no, Inter
Inter
have
have
conceded
just
conceded
3 goals
conceded just
so
three
far.
goals.
3 goals so far. One goal in the group stage, one goal against Feyenoord, and one goal last night against Bayern. Just 3 goals so far. So they have the best in the defense in this season's Champions League. And
But
they've
they've
been
scored
very,
very
very,
little
very.
too.
They've been, what?
You can't
They've scored
necessarily
Because,
say
very
that's
little
little
too.
now. We still average about
oh, well,
1.5 goal
well,
per game.
of course, that the fact that up to this
17 goals
stage
is not
in the
little in
quarterfinals,
11 games.
yeah, the fact that up to this stage in the Champions League, with this new format and everything, 8 group stage, eight games in the group stage, I guess, and they only managed to concede just 1 goal. The round of 16 against Feyenoord, they conceded 1 goal. Now, last night in the quarterfinals, they conceded just 1 goal. So far, I think Inter have the best defense in the Champions League, this season's Champions League. And it's evident from their performance so far, and they've been very disciplined. Inter is a very disciplined side. In fact, I believe in this season's Inter in this Champions League more than any other team. And the game, or would I say the prospective game between Inter and Barcelona, I don't see Barcelona to be.
Wait.
Well,
Inter has not qualified. Wait.
Yeah,
Stop it there.
I know Inter
Um,
are going to qualify.
yeah,
Inter has not
see,
qualified. Wait,
Inter are
exactly.
going to qualify.
let's know what we are doing. Oh.
Inter to
Vincent
me,
Company has said that the tie is not over. They are
yeah.
coming to San
Forget
Siro,
about
so you
company.
can be prepared.
I don't rate company. You don't have to rate company. Forget about company. Company is, in fact, this is the end of the road for him. He has to come back next season. That is
Well,
for, you don't have to come back next season.
enough has been said about Arsenal. Let's just talk about the other three matches. We've talked about Inter too. Inter
Yes,
showed maturity against Bayern.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Yinka spoke about Bayern's weakness in the last episode, and it played out exactly that way. The second goal, I don't know how an home team is that exposed in the 88th minute in a Champions League quarterfinal against Inter Milan.
you have to
Uh,
do football.
that's
it's something that
that's
they're used to.
oh,
They're used to dominating most teams. So there's
Limited is,
this bit
I
of
think they go back.
cockiness in the way that they play. Yeah, there's this bit of arrogance. Okay, we've equalized. We can easily come and get that second goal and
Exactly.
beat you now. And it played
So that was
right
the
into
problem.
Inter's hands. Like I told someone today, I'm hoping that they come to the San Siro to play all out attack again. If they play all out attack, they will be easily dismantled, as far as I'm concerned. But if they try to be more conservative, then there's a chance that they can get something. But we just have to wait and see. I think Inter has the upper hand. We just wait and see what happens in the second leg. Though.
okay. Tosi, uh, PSG were too much for Aston Villa tonight. Same thing, Barcelona for Dortmund. As far as I'm concerned, Barcelona is a foregone conclusion. There's nothing for Dortmund in that time. But PSG Aston Villa is an interesting tie. Do you see Unai Emery pulling any masterclass at Villa Park?
No, I'll rule them out.
Uh-uh. Tosin, that was
Yes,
very sharp. No.
I'll rule
Uh-uh.
them out. The
What
thing
can
is,
say to the
That
point?
was a bad belly answer.
no. Let me tell you the truth. Unai's tactics is more of Aram football. Yeah, he plays. If you look at the game against PSG, he came to defend until PSG scored because I watched the game. So until PSG scored the first, I think they scored first. Yeah, they
Yeah,
scored
they
Yeah.
first.
scored first.
Villa scored first, and then they went back to sit down. PSG scored, equalized, and PSG scored the second goal. They came out, which was why they considered the third goal. And I believe when they come back to Villa Park, they would come out to play, and this is where PSG will kill them because definitely they will come out. And if you look at the players head to head, I will still pick PSG players
Of course.
ahead of Aston Villa's players. So which I believe PSG would go through home and away. Villa would not win the second leg.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's as straightforward as that, Sha. I think that Unai Emery is a very experienced coach. Like we said last week, I think it was myself and Ahmed that mentioned that even this first leg is not as straightforward as most people expect it to be, and it will be very tight. I was watching the game. I saw the game, for a considerable bit as well. Unai Emery obviously would have defended against PSG. Man for man, PSG have better quality. PSG have a better system. PSG have been there. This Aston Villa team does not have experience of playing on occasions like this. So it was the right thing to sit back and try to, catch them on the counter. But even with that, PSG still needed two spectacular goals, two goals out of
Individual
nothing, so to
brilliance.
speak. If you get one individual brilliance to score those two goals. So against Aston Villa at the Villa Park with the crowd at their back. And I'm not saying that PSG does not have a chance, but I'm just saying that it would be quite, would I say, premature to rule out Aston Villa completely, especially because Unai Emery is experienced at this stage of European competition. He knows what he needs to do. If PSG get too cocky, thinking that we would easily beat this team, I think that Aston Villa is going to just, might just take the day with a 2-0 win, and that's all. I mean, this PSG came to Anfield and couldn't score more than one now, and they needed two spectacular goals in France. So anything is still possible. PSG obviously
Well,
still slight favourites, of course.
well, anything is still possible. Next week we would converge again, and I know we'll celebrate Arsenal. Don't worry. Nothing for
No,
me.
that one is
No
certain.
transfer.
Arsenal and Barcelona, I think they are done. They should start
Yeah.
preparing for the service.
Anyways, there were matches that took place over the weekend. There were a lot of draws in the key fixtures. There was a draw in the Manchester Derby. Juventus drew away at Roma. Milan drew Fiorentina. Barcelona drew Real Betis. Bologna drew Napoli. Even Inter drew away at Parma. But then uh, I'm sure Yinka was very relieved after the Napoli draw. Uh, Lazio defeated Atalanta, and like we predicted, Atalanta are fully back in the top four race. Arsenal drew away
Liverpool
at
lost.
Everton, and I want to ask Tosin, do you guys want to join the top four race? We don't mind though. Yinka, be you mind?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Arsenal fan.
Well, yes. See, the thing is, if we are talking about top four, it's not even top four anymore because of that three
Oh, top
zero win
five!
yesterday.
Congratulations!
Yeah, because of that 3-0 win yesterday, we've helped some of the
Congratulations!
English teams, people like Manchester City and
Sure, you see
Chelsea,
what you are going to
Ìgbéraga
face
Newcastle.
if
yìí
Arsenal wins this Champions League.
So
ìgbéraga yìí
people
náà ni.
like Chelsea, Newcastle, and then Villa, yeah, then Villa to come experience Champions League next season. Right. So for the game against Everton, you know, Premier League referees are not consistent. I would say that. Everton had a penalty,
I saw the penalty incident.
which
Uh,
I believe it shouldn't be a penalty. But then, what can Tosin from Middlesbrough? What can he do? Nothing, because
you
this
can
season we
you can hear your opinion on the Let's Go podcast.
there is nothing I can do because it has happened many times this season. So, Michael Oliver giving Skelly a red card. I think it was against Wolves. you know. So we faced many bad refereeing decisions this season. So the game against Everton, we're looking at the game against Madrid. We're preparing for that, so we had to rest some players. But still,
Hmm.
we went to Everton.
Yeah,
to
see
look to
tactics.
look to look for a win. But unfortunately, with the referee's bad decision, we drew that game. So there's nothing we can do. And I will still say congratulations to Liverpool because they've won the league already.
Okay, quickly, let me just put you on the spot. Liverpool has won the league. Arsenal, hopefully, second. Who are your other three teams to make the top five?
Um, right. So I would say, Nottingham Forest. They are there, but I checked their fixtures. It's a bit dicey, and I really want them to make it. I don't want them to drop. So I will still want them to be there as favorites to make that third position. And then for Newcastle, I think they have a game in hand, and they
Yeah.
as well. They have a game in hand, so they are favorite as well to qualify for Champions League. Then I think the fifth position should be between Man City and Chelsea.
You have to pick
Chelsea
one.
are not. Yes, Chelsea are not consistent. Man City as well, they are not consistent. But I would want um serious teams to come represent England in the Champions League. So I would still want to pick City because I believe next season City will still add players. They have this experienced coach, which is Pep. Never say never with Pep, you know. So I believe with Pep next season they should come back and they should come back to the league and be able to compete for Champions League. So I'll be picking that's Liverpool, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Manchester City.
Manchester City. Okay, not
Yes.
bad. Crespo, your three teams joining Arsenal and Liverpool.
Well, I'll go with Tosin's submission. Liverpool, you know, they're already winners. Arsenal second. Now it's going to be between um, Forest. Okay, Forest for third. Then now between Chelsea and Manchester, I'll pick Manchester City to take the fifth position. So yeah,
So,
um, Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, uh, yeah, Manchester City, and Manchester City. That's for the top four. Yeah.
there's a fifth team.
Okay, so the fifth team that can go to Chelsea.
Have you seen Chelsea's fixtures? Look at Newcastle's fixtures. Newcastle still has a
I
game
hope
in
you
hand.
still remember my pick from last week.
Yeah.
Newcastle. I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Newcastle fourth, and then
Okay.
Manchester City. So in
Okay.
this
So do
order:
Chelsea
Liverpool,
for Crespo.
Arsenal,
Uh when
Forest, Newcastle.
Yinka, please remind me of your pick again. I don't
Uh,
know Chelsea for you.
Yeah, it was Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, and Man City.
I think we
Nottingham
all had
Forest, Newcastle,
the
and Man
same.
City.
It was Ahmed that said Chelsea.
Hmm.
Nottingham Forest, Man City, and Chelsea.
Well, fair point. Tosin, we don't know when next we are going to have you, so let us drain all the Arsenal vibes from you. This season has come and it has gone for you in the league.
Hmm.
From an Arsenal perspective, it must be disappointing for you, considering the fact that you finished second on three consecutive uh, occasions. Liverpool came from nowhere and now they've taken the league. Going into next season, as a fan, I know you are not the sporting director, you are not the
Hmm.
coach, you are not the owner. But as a fan, can you give me just four players you would like to see in Arsenal colours next season
To make them challenge for the title, Abi.
to make them challenge for the title ahead? Sorry, thank you, Yinka.
Right. So I know we need to get a center forward, which is very important. And I think they are linking us with Gyökeres, which is not a bad player. Even though I wanted Sesko, right? But with Gyökeres, I've not seen his game like that. I always see highlights of him, scored goals, he has the records and all of that.
Be careful
So
of highlights. Oh,
yeah, so exactly. So and I'm not really
Crespo's
a fan
club
of.
went to pay
I'm not
32
really a
million for
fan of
highlights.
we watching YouTube, checking a player from YouTube and all of that. But if we get a good striker, that's fine. Mm, we should be able to go. And then we need someone on the left as well. So on that left, I would want
Liao,
to get not Liao, no,
I
not
give you
Liao.
Liao.
No, not Liao. We want this guy
Okay.
from Atletico Bilbao. What's his name
Inaki,
again?
Inaki Williams.
Williams, not
Matthew Williams.
inactive,
The brother.
not the brother.
Okay. What's
Uh,
his name again? Nico Williams.
yes. So
Nico.
yeah. So I think we are trying to get the guy, even though he wants to go to
Liao go fit you
Barcelona.
now.
No, I don't want Leao. Leao has
That that
Leao.
that Emirates jersey. If
Leao is
Liao,
not a he's not a
ah,
bad
don't
player.
sing.
He's not a bad
Liao.
player.
He's
Okay,
all
Leao is
smiles.
not a bad player. But
make her dey smile.
the only thing about him is,
Make I
will
market
I
my
say,
goods.
he's unserious or his end product sometimes. He knows
Ateta will
how.
teach him seriousness.
So, but we are not going for Leao. So that's the thing. I believe we'll get someone on that left to because we can't depend on Saka all the time. Look at it this season now. So much game he had to go for, was it 3 months injured. So we'll be getting someone on the left because with Williams, Martinelli can always play on the right sometimes. So it's going to help. And then we've not given Partey a contract yet. So and I'm hoping and
Wow.
praying that we give him a contract, right? But hearing we want to get Zubimendi to play the midfield as well. I don't know what Ateta has seen with all these Spanish players. Then the fourth player, which I believe should be maybe a defender. Yeah, we have two quality defenders in Saliba and Gabriel. But if you look at their backup, Kirill is Gabriel's backup, and I don't really rate him like that. Though he had a good game yesterday against Madrid, no doubt, but still, he's prone of error. So we need to get someone who can always at least compete with Gabriel and Saliba. So I believe with that, we should be good for next season. So, but
No,
winning the league, I can't say. Many
really,
things are,
you
yeah,
can.
many things are involved. Look at
And
this
don't
season.
touch, and don't touch Arsenal. Go.
No, look at it. Look at it this season. Do you know how many points EPL referee dropped against Arsenal alone?
I think it's a weak argument to always point out at referees. Sha.
Honestly,
No,
honestly,
It's
it's
not
a
a
weak
weak. It's
argument.
not a weak. Okay, look at the points. Look at the game against Everton now. You said you
Tosin,
saw
you
the
don't
game.
have players that can win you matches.
And
Forget
personally,
referee.
personally, I think that refereeing errors always have a way of balancing themselves across all teams.
Sure, you
If you
get you
ask
dey
a
blow
Man
around
City fan
everybody.
today to tell you what referees have done to them,
No,
they
it's
You
will.
dey
just too
blow
But
much.
around
you are
It's
looking
just
everybody.
at it from an Arsenal perspective. You will
it's just too
probably not see
much.
some of these errors.
It's
If you
just too
ask a
much
Man United fan,
against.
same thing. If you ask a Tottenham fan, same thing.
No.
Mistakes happen in the game. But I think it's just weak for one team to think that, oh, we are being targeted. And I'm saying this
No.
because I used to do the same as an Inter fan. Throughout when we were in Banter area, I used to think, oh, referees are against us. But over time, you learn to realize that this thing evens up eventually. These referees are humans. They can make mistakes. And just the way they've made mistake with your team, they could also make mistake with another team. And if you really look at other teams as well, you would notice that they make mistakes with them too.
But do you know that this is just too much against us now? Look at
Because you watch
Trossard.
mostly Arsenal games now.
Look at Trossard's red card at the beginning of the season. You
You
must not
kick the
kick the
ball
ball.
away now.
You must not kick the ball. But yeah, fine. If you are going to do it against us now, then do it against other teams as well. After that, and look at that. I think
The question is, was it
Salim,
wrong to have sent the player off?
the rule is the rule.
Aha. So
No, it
he
wasn't
made the
wrong.
right decision with Arsenal. But your problem
But
now is that it did not make it with someone else.
they've not. They have not
Exactly.
been. They have not been. They
So,
have not been doing it.
so they don't do
And
Ojoro
to
for
me, it does.
Arsenal now. If he
And
made the right decision with
to
Arsenal,
me,
it
to
wasn't
me,
Ojoro now.
it does not make sense.
Mhm.
Now, if we are talking about Everton's game was just so glaring, right? Skelly considered a foul, which I believe is not a foul. They went to VAR to view it, and VAR still left it. And if you look at, I
I
think
didn't
it
want
was
to
even
say
last
anything
season.
about that penalty since morning because I think it was a penalty. But go on.
Me, I don't
Well,
think it was a penalty. I don't think it
I
was a
think that
penalty.
at the time that Lewis Kelly fell, the Everton player was in the box and he fell on the Everton player's leg, which was the contact that brought the player down. The foul started
But,
from
but
outside the
the
box.
Everton player brought him down. They were
exactly.
tussling.
It was a draw now. It was a draw. So
Yes,
normally
that
a
was a
draw is a
duel. So why
50-50.
give a penalty?
A draw is a 50-50. I hope you agree that.
Yeah.
I hope you agree with that.
Yes.
A draw is a 50-50. Now, while they were dueling, at the time that the Everton player got into the box and Skelly fell, he fell on the Everton player's leg. And when you are giving penalties, you don't consider intentions, whether it was a mistake or not. The fact still remains that it was an incident that brought the player down.
Well, they asked an experienced referee, Damon Gallagher, what's his name, if that was a penalty. He said no,
But it
and
was
that was
also
not a
experienced
penalty.
referees that gave the penalty now. The
So
people
I
in the
don't
bar,
count
they don't
them. I
experienced
don't count.
referees.
I don't count those ones as
Can you imagine?
experienced.
Because it didn't go in national favor.
Above all, Arsenal had like 30 to
I
35
think Arsenal
minutes to
shot
win the game.
themselves in the foot this season. Arsenal had the chance to replace their striker in January. Everybody in the
Yeah.
world knew this except Ateta.
No, you
Everybody
won't. See.
in the world.
Everything is not Ateta's fault. You say
Are you
what you
sure
Well,
he
said.
he get the
well,
striker in the
Arsenal,
summer? Are you
Ateta,
sure he get
management,
the
I don't know.
striker
But
in
I'm
the
just
summer?
saying that everybody knew that Arsenal needed a striker, but Arsenal did not get a striker. Arsenal is a bit weak on the left wing. I know that Tosin has mentioned, who did he mention for left wing again?
Williams.
Nico Williams.
William.
Nico
Me, I
Williams.
personally think they should go for Lookman. That's my personal preference for me. I think they should go for Lookman. Lookman too should be able to do well on that wing. They need
Um,
backup defenders. They need a left back, not to be defended depending on Lewis Kelly. But we'll see what they do in
uh,
summer again.
um, for Lookman, yeah, he's a good player, but with the type of game Ateta plays, Ateta is a kind of player that he limits his players. What do I mean by he limits his players? You see Martinelli coming to the back to defend. Lookman cannot do all of that. Lookman, if you look at Lookman in Atlanta, he scored many goals. He's always in front. He cannot do the work Ateta
Lookman
will want him
defends.
to do.
So
Lookman has a good work rate.
you think you
Atalanta
can play in
players.
Serie A? You think you can play in Serie A? Maybe except if you are Leao, but for you to play as a
Maybe
winger in
now
Serie
Leah
A,
you
you
want
must
to
know
talk
how to
about.
defend. Though.
Well,
Maybe now Leah you want to talk about.
They have cholesterol bullets.
Leao is not a bad player,
Anyways,
but then he plays for
anyways,
Portugal and plays
anyways,
for Milan.
uh, it's been an interesting discussion so far, and hopefully we want Arsenal to challenge next season, and hopefully with the new sporting director, I hope we challenge.